So like, it was obviously the most. Them three define the tag team division, in my opinion. Like, I know that like guys like the New Day came along and have like went on extraordinary runs, and they'll probably go down as one of the best tag teams ever. And the Usos as well, have really come in this generation and done fantastic work and stuff. But just because they sort of implemented the fact that it was kind of nearly like hardcore matches, obviously with the tables, ladders, and chairs, and how they sort of just planted them in, like the table was a a mainstay in the Dudley boys, like more so than even Spike. It was the table. It was Devon, fucking Bubba Ray, the table, and then Spike.
But I think that's how the match ended up getting started. I think it's because I think one of them was like ladder specialists, and obviously the table specialists, and then I don't think one of them were probably using chairs at the time or something. I can't quite recall exactly, but I think that's how it became TLC. Because
they added all of
all of the elements together,
and the fact is that all the three of them, the three tags or whatever, all blended really well together, because you had like Devon and Bubba Ray, who were incredibly stiff and like powerful and stuff like that there, and then you probably had the two best wrestlers with Edge and Christian. Like you probably had the two
most technical.
The two most technical, like they are, because they're the two that went on and did the most with their singles career, to be fair.
So I would argue that if Jeff didn't have his demons, he maybe would have been up there as well.
Possibly. But then you had
he had a better career than Christian, like singles,
yeah. But they did very well for themselves and stuff too, like, and they were probably the two best individual actual wrestlers and stuff like that there. And then you had the two fucking, stuntmen in the Hardys, like,
just taking all the big bumps.
Oh, the two bump machines, like.
And just some of the spots that they did, like, like Edge spear
from him
when he's hanging off the belt and stuff. All the lads getting put through the tables by the Dudleys and stuff like that there too. The spots from the top rope, when they sort of had planted across, across to the barricade and stuff, like. And they were all cool, and like I have an affinity to the Hardy Boys and stuff like that there, but I didn't. To be fair, I did actually dislike Edge and Christian, but I loved the Dudleys as well. To be fair, the Edge and Christian were the ones that I didn't like, but they're obviously two incredible wrestlers as well. But you like the Dudleys, and to be fair, I think didn't the Dudleys have like the record for most tag titles or something? So they were the ones that they kind of pushed upon leading the division. I think.
The Dudleys,
like out of them three, the Dudleys were the most successful.
Than not, the Dudleys were always the defending champions
in
the match.
Absolutely.
They were always the ones coming in the champions.
Yeah.
Not every match, but most of them.
And to be fair,
something tells me the Dudleys were the leading champions, but they've been overtaken. It wouldn't have been the New Day. It might have been the Hardys, because obviously they're back now and have had a few title reigns recently.
Fair point.
It might have been the Hardys. I can't remember. I think they've lost it, but I can't mind exactly who took it.
The Dudleys, even when the Dudleys made that return a couple of maybe it could be 5 years ago now, to be fair, but they made that return and the pop they got was insane. Like the Dudleys are loved.
To be fair, at that time, the Dudleys were my probably favourite out of them all.
Yeah.
And even now, I still love the Dudleys. I'd probably say the Dudleys if I had to pick out of the three of them.
I have an affinity to the Hardys and I have an affinity towards Jeff, so that it's always going to be the Hardys for me. But
EC Dub,
lad, the Dudleys were fucking deadly as well.
Bubba Ray, even in a singles career, showed Bubba Ray could go a lot more than you thought he could go.
Absolutely, when he turned into Bully Ray and that character within TNA and stuff like that there too, but he was always a shit talker as well too.
He's from New York, and they've all got mouths,
sitting yapping to the crowd all the time, and stuff like that there. He was a good character. He did with the ECW stuff as well, especially in that, isn't it Philadelphia ECW was based in?
Yeah.
So it's like that rabid crowd anyway.
No.
So they did very, very well there. But when the three of them tag teams. It was another, I talked about Trish and Lita at the start. It was another one. You never really got sick of watching them matches, did you? When you knew that there was going to be a triple threat between them three, even if it was just a regular singles and then, or whatever, you knew that there was going to be stunts. You knew that there was going to be big spots. You knew that somebody was getting fucked up and hurt. And
you knew Jeff Hardy was taking his shirt off, and next thing all the girls started fucking screaming.
That was me screaming, to be fair. But look, they were all good. All them matches were top drawer. Not maybe just for wrestling spectacle, but I'll give a wee bit of credit to Edge and Christian too. Edge and Christian, when it came to some of the bigger spots, it was a lot of ENC versus the Hardys. They kind of pushed the Dudleys out of that in them sort of scenarios, at least a little bit. Bar, sort of the putting them through the table and, the jumping from the top rope and stuff, but they would have took them out of that. So Edge and Christian had their bit to do with some of the bigger spots as well. And, the Hardys were fucking fantastic for that. Like,
I think what worked so well for like that rivalry and those matches was the fact that they all played to their strengths.
Yeah.
As you say, like like the Hardys played up the whole high flying, risk taking.
Yeah. Put it all on the line.
The Dudley boys literally hyped up the crowd. Devon, get the table.
Oh,
and they were so hard hitting and so stiff, like, and they were the power, and as I said, like, they were the ones that, as you said as well, that usually were holding the titles going into some of them big matches and stuff.
More often than not, yeah.
And then you had just Edge and Christian just being technically really good and a really good and like they were with the Edge and Christian put on a show as well. Like, they had the sort of character stuff and the comedians and the jokesters.
What do you call it? The 5-second pose, was it?
Do you know what I mean? Like, Edge and Christian were a fucking good dynamic duo as well. They were the pretty boys, like. At the very beginning, like, they were the sort of the pretty boys in it as well.
We hate to go down this route as well, but they're Canadians, and Canadians get a lot of hate.
And everything about that rivalry between them three was top drawer for me. Well, like, as I said with the first one, when I think of sort of the women's division of that era, it's Trish and Lita. When I think of the tag team division of that era,
yeah, absolutely,
it's them boys. Like, when we're talking about greatest rivalries, I couldn't not talk about them, because the three of them
together just made magic. Like,
it was a three-way rivalry. Everybody held the belts at different points in time. Some of them held them longer, some of them held them shorter, and more often than not, they were dropping the titles to the other factions within the rivalry as well too. Like, maybe the Hardys held it, and then Edge and Christian held it, and then the Dudleys held it. Then there's a pay-per-view and they fucked them into a triple threat or whatever. So that rivalry's iconic, and they're some of the very best tag teams of all time. Like, and they were all together and they all really worked well together. And like, I'd watch a match between them all now. Like,
I actually watched a few of them there rather recently. Like, I just recently, well, when I say Matthew got the network, lets me use it.
Yeah.
And I just took off on like a wee bit of a WrestleMania binge, and I started right from about 15 up.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched all the MTLCs recently.
Yeah.
And it's great shit. It still holds up today. It puts a lot of tag team matches and teams currently to shame. Because those guys were the innovators.
Because tag team wrestling is a different form of wrestling. Like, you need the spots of using your partner and stuff. They all had them. Like, I can't even remember what's the one the Hardys do, where like, isn't it Matt kneels down and then Jet sort of runs across
in the wind.
Whisper in the wind. Something like that. He runs across and springs off Matt's back and then hits him in the turnbuckle. Gets the turnbuckle and stuff like that. I like good technical tag team wrestling. Like, tag team wrestling's a different form, and they use them together is class. And them guys all had their own sort of signature spots and stuff like that there, and it all worked incredibly well together. And they're just some of the best rivalries in the tag team division.
The Dudleys headbutt the nuts, like.
Wonderful stuff. 3D and all over the place. Great rivalry, to be fair. Right, Tom, what do you got first?